Leaders in Internet media and the American-made movement. You're listening to Internet Radio America.
Coming to you live from the Mendocino Forest in Northern California. Parrots, People, and Pets. Your hosts this evening are Michael and Mandolin Cox. We would love to welcome the entire world all the way around the globe to our show. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Good evening, peeps. Welcome to Parrots, People, and Pets, another fun broadcast from the Mendocino Forest in Northern California. We're I'm talking extremely excited that you're with us tonight. We've got a powered-packed show for you of great information, a wonderful guest, and I just wanted to put it out there real quick that, all of you guys that have birds and all of you guys that don't have birds, I'm really, really sincerely hoping that you guys had an absolutely fantastic day today in this universal playground that we had to play in. And I mean that sincerely. We've had a wonderful day here in the forest. I'm outside right now in a T-shirt, and I know you guys on the East Coast are wanting to throw snowballs at me. We haven't quite been devastated like you are back there regarding the weather and stuff, and I'm hoping that you all stay warm and keep your beautiful companions, i.e. pets, safe and warm, and that this winter storm passes. I understand there's another Arctic bad boy that's coming down that's going to hit you guys again. So those of you that ever experience problems such as, power outages and things of that nature, I'm really hoping that you really have thought forward on that and have gotten yourselves a generator or something like that just in case. We as people can wrap up in a ton of blankets, but sometimes our pets, don't really have that opportunity. So anyway, welcome. We've been doing this for a while now, and we're having a really, really good time with it. One of the things that I love about this more than anything is the wonderful, wonderful people that we've gotten to meet all over the world. And as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, we're now broadcasting to 190 countries. And I have to use, after our shows, I have to use my translator sometimes big time in order to take and, understand basically what people are sharing with us. And there's people everywhere that really, really enjoy what we're doing. Not Mandy and I, but I mean you guys that are listening, you guys that are on the chat wing, you guys that are a very important integer to this show. It's like one big family. And the beauty of it is, you guys, it's growing. It's growing. And we're finding out more every day that the hearts that we have, we're still just a handful in regards to the total population on this planet. There's just a handful of us still that stand up, that will do anything we can to protect our beautiful companions, i.e. pets. We love them, we protect them. They're part of our family. I refer to them, as I said, as companions. I don't want to call them pets anymore, okay? I don't want to do that. I don't like what that sounds like. All of the companions in our family are equal to everyone that lives here, whether they be human or not. This beautiful universal playground has made the decision of putting whatever that thought is that keeps your heart beating into several different kinds of bodies. And all of those bodies deserve to be recognized with dignity and respect and to be welcomed to another day in our universal playground. Before we get going into our show here, I'd like to mention a couple of things. And one is, I want to thank our sponsor, okay, Tops Pellets. All right, and they're at TotallyOrganics.com, TotallyOrganics.com. They're sponsoring our show, and the cool part about this is that we are also feeding our birds their food. And it's a fantastic food, and If it wasn't, I wouldn't be feeding my babies this, okay? So just because they're sponsoring us doesn't mean that, oh, we don't use their product, but, it's really nice that they're willing to take and sponsor us to get, to get their name out there and help to build their business. Well, you know what? Support them because they make a fantastic food. It's all totally organic, okay? There's no GMOs in it. There's no fillers. There's no sugars. There's none of that you find in some of your other leading brands. And I'm not going to mention the names, okay? But I think if you scratch your head for a second, kind of roll your eyes and close them and look back, you'll kind of get an idea of who I'm talking about. All right? If you go to their website, totallyorganics.com, and you place an order, if you simply mention my name, Michael Cox, in the comments section, they'll send you, additionally, a free 1-pound bag of their pellets for your FIDs. So don't forget to do that, okay? Please support them, all right? Because, as I said, we feed all of our babies their food. We believe in them. I have investigated them like there is no tomorrow, okay, you guys? Like I said, not just because they're a sponsor. I've looked into them, and I really wish that I had discovered them years ago. And to be honest with you, I'm not really sure exactly how long they have been in business, but a lady by the name of Gudrun has written some awesome books on bird diet and things of that nature, and we've read them. It's extremely informative. This person definitely has the knowledge, okay? And then turned all that knowledge into something real and created a fantastic food. And I take my hat off to her, okay? She's doing a good thing. All right. On Wednesday, February 5th, there's a brand new show on Internet Radio America. It's called One Team America. Okay? Wednesday, February 5th. And it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's hosted by Mr. Frank Crumley, the proprietary owner of Internet Radio InternetRadioAmerica.com. That pause, there was a reason for that, because you know what this man is doing is something absolutely fantastic, and I really, truly respect him. He's actually encompassing a number of different integers to be able to pull back the American dream, and for us to start giving a damn again, all right, and stepping up and doing something about certain things that are going on in our country. Number one, Veterans in Crisis, all right? It's a fantastic show hosted by C.W. Brown and American-Made Businesses and Main Street America. All of these things, basically, all coupled together, what he's doing is he's making a heartfelt, sincere attempt of keeping our country and our hearts as Americans still on the map of thought. Okay? Still on the map of thought. In other words, you go downtown and you support your downtown businesses, okay? You don't want to drive to your downtown and see boards up over the windows. And I'm sure there are a few of you that may live in cities where you see that. Well, you know what? We can stop that, okay, by just simply supporting downtown America, all right? Supporting American manufacturers that make items that are guaranteed more than 30 seconds or 30 feet. It's a big difference here, okay? There's a big difference here. He cares. I care. I know a lot of you people that are listening right now and part of this show care. But let's do just a little bit more than just care, you guys, okay? Let's actually do something about it. Because if you don't do anything about it, then nothing changes for the better. All we have is more chaos, confusion, innuendos, and stone throwing, if you will. All right? So let's jump on it. Wednesday, February 5th, One Team America. That means all of us, we're a team. On Tuesday evening, Main Street America is hosted by my brother Tony Chance, who lives in Hawaii. Lucky dude. And as I said earlier, his show is about bringing back downtown America's businesses and keeping the existing businesses open. Parrots, People, and Pets you're listening to right now at 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't even need to tell you that, okay? That was just like, in fact, I'm going to erase that, all right? That's really dumb, to tell somebody that. Anyway, Global Therapy following Parrots, People, and Pets, and tonight we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. All right? I've been challenging myself basically this week of trying to come up with something that many, many people might have some sort of common frame of reference to. And it's two different integers that I'm going to toss out to you tonight, and I'm hoping some of you guys will have an interest to be able to call in. But if you don't, it's okay. And one is how to overcome social phobia or social anxiety and how to get motivated. Okay? So there's a reason behind that as well, too. That is that if you think about doing something and you don't do it, there's a reason for that. And 9 times out of 10, it has to do with motivation, or it has to do with perhaps social anxiety. And we can cripple both of those options, if you will, and blow them out into the icicles of space where they belong. So please stay with us tonight for Global Therapy. All right? Veterans in Crisis is 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? And that's hosted, as I said, by C.W. Brown. And this is giving vets who live under bridges and are homeless, you guys, okay, a chance to work, get housing, and get back their dignity, and even perhaps be able to take and remember their dream and make their dream come true. All right? So thanks for bearing with me, basically, on the different goodies that I needed to toss out to you before we get started here. Mandolin has some fantastic information that she wants to share with you. We discovered some really cool things in the last couple of weeks regarding bird, okay? And you guys are probably, on the chat wing or call in, okay? 617-381-4700. We discovered something about parrots that you may already know, but you know what? I'll bet most of you don't. In fact, I'm willing to bet you a bag of walnuts, okay? But you have to come here to pick them up. Mandolin?
Well, before we get into that, I want you guys to know that we're going to have special guest Delta Andries with us out of Canada. She is the founder of Parrotelia Bird Toys. If you want to check out their site, the web address is www.parrotelia.birdtoys. That's parrot, E-E-L-I-A, birdtoys.com. And she is going to be joining us after the break. We're going to talk about something, like Michael said, I don't think many bird owners even know exists. Michael and I didn't know it existed until just a few weeks ago. I was petting her, like I usually do, and I was helping her get some of her pin feathers off. She was growing in some new tail feathers, so I was exploring down in that area. And I noticed at the base of her tail, right above her feathers, when they start getting really long, there was a bump. And it was swollen and pink with about 4 feathers sticking out of it, but the feathers were all fuzzy. There was no stalk to them or anything like that. So we took her to the vet the next day. And the vet had a look, said it looked like an obstructed oil gland, but not to worry unless it started to look infected. So a few days went by, and I was still worried about it because I knew it was not normal. Then Christine Fretch posted a picture on Facebook of an African gray that she got into her rescue that had the same kind of bump. And it looked very familiar to what Bugler had going on. And Christine had also brought her bird to her vet, who immediately put her gray, her name is Kissy, the gray's name is Kissy. The vet put Kissy on antibiotics and prescribed a warm bath each day. So after that, Christine and I talked on the phone for a while about the contrast in our veterinarian's difference of opinions, and she sent me an article about what exactly the bump at the base of their tail is and why it can become infected or swollen. And it's called their uropygial gland, or their oil gland, or their preen gland. And when you sometimes see birds bend their heads backwards to pick at the base of their tail sometimes or rub their head around there, they're actually collecting important waxes and oils from their oil gland. It's a complex mixture of things, really. There is also extruded cells and fatty acids that are secreted out of it. The birds use the oil to distribute it all over the feathers. What exactly the oil is used for is debatable, but we do know that it helps birds to maintain their feathers and their skin and keep them in good condition. And it's likely that it also helps some birds to waterproof their feathers, especially like water birds. In addition to helping the bird keeping its feathers in good condition, the oil that the bird gets from that oil gland actually contains antibacterial and antimycotic properties. And some birds actually secrete a certain scent from their oil glands to attract mates with their pheromones. There are even some birds that have oil glands that make a really bad-smelling liquid that the birds rub into their feathers to help keep predators far away from females that are in the process of nesting and to keep predators away from baby chicks. It actually even helps repel parasites. But the horrible smell goes away just before the chicks begin to fledge. But what I want to focus on are the oil glands of our parrots. I basically just wanted to explain how very important they are, not just in our pets, but to the birds in the wild, too. One thing I noticed about Bugla about a year ago, we got her almost 2 years ago, was that her feathers started to become black at the edges, which is a typical sign of stress, stress feathers. However, I couldn't really imagine why in the world she would be stressed. She came from a horrible home previously with no attention, so I thought she would have to be elated to actually be getting care and attention now. It didn't make sense to me until I read the article Christine sent me about oil glands. And when an oil gland is blocked or it stops producing some or all of its oil, the quality of your parrot's feathers is going to deteriorate. And by the time you actually notice that your parrot's feathers are starting to look like they're in poorer condition than usual, you should be able to clearly tell that the oil gland is in fact impacted by that time, if that is the case of the feather damage. But the part of the article that scared me the most was the fact that an atrophied oil gland can actually cause seizures in birds. When the oil gland stops working properly, it stops making vitamin D3 precursors, which, when your bird preens itself, are spread all over their plumage. And when your bird becomes exposed to ultraviolet light, those precursors become active D3, and the birds ingest that vitamin when they preen again. And without that vitamin, calcium cannot be properly utilized by the bird's body. So the gland is also necessary for proper calcium metabolism. So how can you check whether or not your bird might have a swollen or blocked oil gland? Right above the tail, the base of the tail, part the feathers until you can feel or see it. It definitely sticks out. It may take a few moments to find it if you haven't felt or seen it before. After dealing with Buglas, I picked up a few of the other birds and I felt their oil glands, which were about 1/5 the size of Buglas. The blue and golds were. It just feels like a small bump. Bugla has 4 different wick feathers on hers. Wick feathers are the fluffy feathers at the end of your bird's oil gland. Some birds have plucked out some or all of their wick feathers. And once you find the oil gland, you want to gently roll it between your fingers and see if there is any oil on your fingers after. A properly working gland will produce oil. If there is none, try it again, or maybe there is just a little bit of oil, which could mean the gland is a bit blocked. Buglas did not produce any oil at all. It still isn't, but we have her on antibiotics now, and we give her a warm bath each day, and it has gone down about 1/4 in size so far.
Mandy, why don't you share with them the antibiotics that we're using and the actual procedure that you're doing?
Well, I don't want to do that because I think that people should see their own vet and do all of that themselves. I don't really want to give medical advice because depending on how bad it is, it differs. But for Bug, in addition to antibiotics, I put her in the tub and fill it up to above where the gland is, and I let her soak in that for about 20 minutes. But there are certain birds that actually do not have an oil gland, like Amazon parrots, doves, pigeons, hyacinth macaws, spix macaws. Birds that lack that gland have specialized feathers instead that disintegrate into powder, the powder down, which serves the same purpose as a preening gland would. These birds are less likely to bathe or immerse themselves in water, so they don't require the waterproofing that preen oil provides to other birds. And I believe we have our guest on the line. Delta, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi. We're actually going to go to break really soon, so stick with us during the break. But in addition to, sorry, I lost my place. Examining your parrot's preening gland should be a really important and routine part of being a parrot owner, especially with feather-picking birds and birds that have seizures or have had seizures. You just never know. So please check your bird's oil gland. It's at the base of their tail. Just part the feathers and check it out.
Extremely valuable information, peeps, and we'll be right back.
Have a problem with your parrot, your dog?
Totally organic parrot food is all natural, organic, nothing artificial added, no GMOs of any kind. Every single one of the ingredients of Top Pellets is healthy to feed by itself. As pellets, the parrots do not get to pick out a single ingredient, but get the whole symphony. Though pellets by themselves are never the solution, parrots need fresh food, nuts, seeds, and a good pellet. Our motto is simply this: variety in moderation, and you have a healthy, happy parrot. TotallyOrganics.com, 1-866-867-2473. Need therapy but can't afford to sit on the couch of a therapist's office for answers? Tune in to Global Therapy, the most therapeutic show on the planet. Heal your heart and mind by listening to others and sharing your own issues. So many people in the world today suffer with emotional problems that can be solved without having to spend a fortune.
Begin to live a better life and see the world in a brighter light. Hosted by Michael Cox of the Global Nest Exotic Bird Sanctuary. Every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right after Parrots, People, and Pets on InternetRadioAmerica.com.
Leaders in Internet media and the American-made movement. You're listening to Internet Radio America.
Welcome back, fellow peep travelers, to this universal playground that we've been given the gift to play in. We've got a very, very special guest with us tonight. We're very proud to have her. She does some awesome things. And Mandolin, why don't you just take over here for a second and share with the world what this beautiful, beautiful lady does.
Yes, we have special guest Delta Andries joining us. She is the founder of Parrotelia Bird Toys out of Canada. Her website, again, is www.parroteliabirdtoys.com. That's parrot, EELIA, birdtoys.com. She has donated many of her toys to our special auction for Christine Fretch's rescue out of Canada, Treasured Wings. So, Delta, we want to thank you for being with us tonight. We know it's pretty late there for you.
That's okay. I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight.
One thing I want to mention first is that you do ship out of the U.S. every Friday. Is that right?
Yes, I do. I live right close to the border, so all my American orders I take over and mail from there. It's quicker for them and cheaper.
Yeah. So how did you get started making parrot toys?
Well, I had parrots of my own, and I just, as we know, sometimes times get tough, and I just started making my own, and the more that I showed people, the more people kept saying, oh, you should make them and sell them, and so gradually I did.
So tell us a little bit about the toys you make. Like, what are some of your favorite materials that you use?
I use a lot of pine. I find most birds enjoy the pine. I have quite a variety. I use bagels, vine items, some hardwood balls and things like that I use more for separators and stuff. Cotton rope. I don't use as much of that, but I do use the poly rope and the paper cord. That tends to be a favorite.
Mm-hmm. And I saw on your website that you have a custom toys section. You do custom orders?
Yes, I do. That's originally how, when I first started making, I started just doing custom toys for customers, and then I gradually worked into making the toys that people could just buy off the site.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have customers that still enjoy their custom work. They just prefer to have one toy with everything their bird likes in it.
Right. And can people see pictures of toys that you've made for previous customers on your website?
There should be some on the website there, yes. There should be about 2 or 3 pages. I haven't updated it recently as I've been busy. We just had a 2-year anniversary sale, so I'm busy finishing up orders there, but hopefully I will get more toys posted.
And I also saw there was a section of videos that customers have sent you and you put on the site. Can you tell us a bit about those?
Well, one of them is just a customer with their bird playing with the toys that they got and showing, how much they're enjoyed. I hope more customers will send in more videos so that I can post those as well.
And so what kind of feedback have you gotten from the avian community so far?
Well, so far, all my customers really enjoy the toys. It's definitely a learning process, and I encourage customers to give me feedback because I can't make better toys if I don't know certain things. If for example, if someone has a bird that likes to untie knots, then I can make a toy with lots of knots. It's just getting the feedback from customers, but so far everyone's been happy with the toys.
And so how long have you been doing this?
My site, the site that you gave out there at the beginning, I've had up now for 2 years, but I've actually been making toys for about 10.
Okay, so you know your stuff by now.
Yes, I try, and I've had a variety of bird sizes, so it gives me an opportunity to know, the size of the birds and most often what they would like. Every bird is different, as we know, but we do try.
So tell us about a few of your different best-selling toys that you have to offer.
Actually, I have one. It's a very simple toy. It's called Woodsy. It just has 4 strands of little blocks, and people tend to really enjoy that one because it's easily destroyed. It's good for smaller birds and even the medium-sized birds that are not strong chewers. And then I also have another little one that's called Clear Noise. That it's quite a thick plastic cup with hanging upside down with beads and soothers and stuff in it so that it rattles and makes noise.
Mm-hmm. And people can actually go on your website, and there is a bestsellers section that they can see which ones people like the most. Yes,
there's a section on the side, so when people are ordering, it usually will pop up most of the items that have been bought, the things that are the most popular. And I also have a review section on my site as well, so customers can go in and post their reviews on the toys, and question section, so they can ask a question about a particular toy before they purchase it, if that's what they would like to do.
And so where can people find you on Facebook?
They just look up the Parrots bird toys on Facebook, and I should be right there.
Okay. And so you mentioned a few of your bestsellers. Many of the people listening have larger macaws, I would say, is among the most common. What kind of toys, I know you said you had parrots of your own, what kind of toys do your larger parrots enjoy the most?
I don't have macaws, but I do have Amazons, and they tend to enjoy a lot of the pine. They don't, mine particularly, don't like really thick pine, so I have to give them thinner things that they have more satisfaction with the destruction process than to actually just have something that makes noise or plays. They are happy destroying.
Right. And so what other features on your website can people see when they go there?
Well, I have quite a few things on there. I have a customer referral program, which is once someone is a customer, and anyone that they refer, they get 10% off their next order. Mm-hmm. So they could refer 5 people, and they won't get 50% at once. I do it in increments of 10%, but then they would have 5 orders with 10% off. Mm-hmm. And that's quite successful. It encourages my customers and helps them out by giving my name out to people. But then I have a rewards points, which they can, once they have so many points, they can get free toys. Mm-hmm. on the site, and it varies on the toy to what the points are.
And you also even have a layaway program.
Yes, I do. They can lay away anything, usually even on my sales, I allow a layaway. They have 4 months to pay off the order, and I don't demand a payment every month. I just expect that it be paid in 4 months, and they can pay as little or as much as they want with just 10% down on the order. And, that's quite successful. I have customers that use that as well. And I also have free shipping over any orders over $175.
And you donated several different toys of yours to Treasured Wings auction. For those of you that want to look up that page on Facebook, just look up mini auction to benefit Treasured Wings. Tell us about some of the toys that people can find there.
The Woodsy, the one I mentioned earlier, is one of them. Another one is Coconutty, and it's actually a coconut, and it actually has hardwood rounds on it, and this I find is pretty good for those birds that are strong chewers, but the hardwood will last them longer. And also Heartful, which was a Valentine toy. It was a pine heart with pine smaller hearts that I have cut out at a pine. They're not hardwood pine. They're all the soft, so they can chew that up and enjoy that.
So tell us a little bit about your own flock. You said you had Amazons. What other kind of birds do you have?
I have 2 Amazons, and I have a little family of conures, and a Rosella, an African gray, and a Quaker, and a cockatiel.
One of our listeners, she hosted another parrot and pet show on the same station. She has lots of conures, and she said one of the hardest toys to look for and to find is actually for, the toys that are perfect size for conures. And so if someone is looking for conure toys on your site, would they look under small toys or medium?
Well, it depends on the size of the conure. Most of them do go to the small. My site may be a little bit different. I try to go with, my small is more the cockatiel. If someone has a lovebird that's quite a heavy chewer, Quaker-sized birds. Sometimes they can go to the medium if they have the larger conures, like the mitards or the Patagonians, those sizes. I have a golden conure, so he would take on the medium toys.
Yeah. And I believe that Michael actually has a few questions for you concerning your toys.
Yes, I'm very, very curious about, we've got a couple of really, really big birds that will take down a $100 toy in about 5 minutes, okay, sometimes even less. We've got a green wing by the name of Rodney, and he's one of the biggest green wings, I think, on planet Earth. In fact, I was actually entertaining the concept one day of taking him to DMV to get him a driver's license. This guy can knock down a $100 toy in a heartbeat. I mean, he gives the term beak a whole new meaning here. Do you have any industrial strength types of toys for your larger birds that can actually enjoy them for more than 30 seconds or 30 feet, whichever comes first? We diligently have been looking for such a source, and to date we still have not found anything that, i.e., worth the investment.
Right. Well, I do have an extra large section. Some of the toys are more easily destroyed, but I do have one that's called Jumbly, and it is very heavy. I have a hard time holding it with one hand, and the blocks are very, very large. I've actually had customers with macaws order this toy and then ask to have the pieces smaller because the bird doesn't want to chew because they're too large. So that's actually probably one of the ones. I'm actually working on getting some more extra large toys put on the site. I do find, due to the strength of the birds, that it is harder to find supplies that are safe for them.
What kind of woods do you use for the larger toys?
It's pine. Yeah. It is pine, but I do use, like that Jumbly is very, very large pieces. So I do use all pine in my toys, most of them. I do have some with, as I mentioned before, the hardwood rounds in them. But with my custom work, if someone wanted something else, then I'd definitely be willing to work with them.
One of the things that I've always thought about doing, a few years ago, I decided, I thought what would be really, really cool is to start making some toys for my birds. And have you ever heard of manzanita?
Yes.
Okay. Well, manzanita is one of the things that we use here for perches that seem to last more than just a week so that they don't chew through them.
Right.
Douglas fir, but the ultimate wood, and it's really, really hard to get, and it's really expensive, and I believe it's out of Brazil, or somewhere in South America, Brazil, I believe, and it's called ironwood. And I'm thinking that one of the things that might really, really, financially speaking, okay, people have these really, really large birds that would take down these big toys in a heartbeat. Do you have if somebody orders something custom from you, do you have a source or a way of getting harder woods for your larger birds so that the toys can actually last longer?
I can have access to some. Now, as far as the manzanita, anything like this, it would be, if I couldn't find a supplier in Canada, then I would look stateside, and the only problem for me is if it's barked wood, I'm not allowed to bring it back into Canada, so I would have to find things that were unbarked and use those. But I do have some access to some hardwoods as long as the customer is willing to pay the price, because we know it does get expensive.
Yes, ma'am, it does. It really, really does. I think your product line, and I'm really looking forward to. We're going to try some of your toys out. We're going to bench test them with Rodney and Bugla and Josie. She's our Harlequin macaw, and we've got 5 or 6 green wings, blue and golds, excuse me, that also are avid beakers, if you will, to put it mildly.
Well, another bird that obviously easily destroys is the cockatoo, and I'm sure you have customers that have cockatoos. What kind of materials or what kind of toys do you find that your customers that have cockatoos like the most?
I find that they tend to go more to my large section for toys. They have, I'm just going to go to my site here right now and kind of choose. Now, for them, they would go more for the coconutty because of the hardwood. I have a few leather ones that they tend to enjoy. And another favorite is Sound of Music, and it's a large guitar. It's very large, so there's definitely lots of pine on that for them to chew away at. And they tend to go for the toys that have more wood on them, whereas some birds don't like the large blocks. They enjoy the ones with the smaller pieces, but I just use more of them. Sea Round is another one. That's a very large toy. It has over 100 pieces of wood on it, and it does have little plastic sea creatures, and there's probably close to 200 on that toy. Let me see, what else do customers buy here? Snapper is another one. It's just all pine, and there's roughly 100 pieces on that, so they would buy those as well.
So tell our listeners, we're about to go to break. Just tell our listeners one more time what your website is, how they can find you on Facebook.
My website is Parrotelia, with parrot and then EELIA, birdtoys.com, and you can look me up at Parrotelia Bird Toys right on Facebook.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Delta, for being with us tonight. We really appreciate you being our guest and staying up a bit late with us.
I appreciate you having me on the show.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we'll be back, Super Peeps. Please hang in there with us. You got 2 minutes.
Can't seem to find the right size wrench? Are you tired of searching for the right tool? Introducing the Loggerhead Bionic Wrench. It's 14 wrenches in one. Any size, just squeeze and turn. The patented design produces a powerful mechanical advantage. Pliers and adjustable wrenches can strip the corners, but that won't stop the Bionic because it grips on all 6 sides. Simply squeeze and turn. American made and a proven winner. No more guessing. Easy to use. Adjusts like a pliers. The Bionic wrench is 14 wrenches in one. Everyone needs one. At home or on the road. With the patented gripping power. The Bionic grips them all. It's a gripping experience. Thousands of uses for the Bionic wrench. Makes a great gift for everyone on your holiday list. 100% American made. Lifetime guarantee.
Does this look familiar? Bending, stretching, standing on one leg, trying to wash your feet. There has to be an easier way. Introducing the Footmate system, the podiatrist recommended safe and easy way to refresh, restore, and renew your feet every day. With gentle inner bristles that clean and massage your soles, and stiffer outer bristles to smooth rough skin, the Footmate system not only gets your feet clean, it also keeps them healthy. The secret to the Footmate system is the Rejuvenating Gel, a natural antiseptic blend of oils and conditioners that smooths rough skin, helps eliminate cracked heels, and leaves your skin feeling silky smooth. Perfect for the shower or tub. The Footmate stays securely in place. Give your feet the attention they deserve. Order the Footmate system today.
Go to footmate.com. Order your Footmate system today. 100% American made.
Totally organic parrot food is all natural, organic, nothing artificial added, no GMOs of any kind. Every single one of the ingredients of top pellets is healthy to feed by itself. As pellets, the parrots do not get to pick out a single ingredient, but get the whole symphony. Though pellets by themselves are never the solution, parrots need fresh food, nuts, seeds, and a good pellet. Our motto is simply this: variety in moderation, and you have a healthy, happy parrot. TotallyOrganics.com, 1-866-867-2473.
Leaders in Internet media and the American-made movement. You're listening to Internet Radio America.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Parrots, People, and Pets on InternetRadioAmerica.com. Earlier in the show, we were talking about the preen gland on parrots, how important it is. I didn't quite get to finish some information on that as to why the oil glands of birds become blocked or obstructed in the first place. There are a few different reasons for this, and malnutrition is one, and probably the most common, especially vitamin A deficiency. Bugla came from a home where she was fed sunflower seeds for 9 years, so that is probably what caused the vitamin A deficiency over time. High-fat, all-seed diets can cause problems with the gland as well. It's believed that adding a bit of wheat into your bird's diet can help the oil gland to recover and eventually create more oil. Some vets even claim that adding a very small amount of fish oil can also help. Another reason this happens is stress. If you have a bird in a stressful environment, or you have a bird in with other birds and that bird sometimes gets picked on, that can create stress too, and eventually has the potential to cause a failing oil gland. This is really important, you guys. A lot of people don't even know that the oil gland exists. When you take your bird to the vet for a physical examination, most of the time it's overlooked. So next time you go to the vet, have your vet look at it, but you can also look now just to check it out. It could also be a blocked oil gland can also be because of an infection, in which case your vet will prescribe you an antibiotic, and that will usually be a 7 to 14-day procedure. If you notice that the gland is distorted in shape and your bird's tail feathers fall out and do not come back, that could be something really serious, like a tumor in that area. And I suggest that if you feel your bird's oil gland and it feels swollen at all, take them to the vet, especially if you have a bird that came from a previous home that did not feed their bird a nutritious diet. I know a lot of us rescue birds or have birds that came from horrible previous conditions. Most likely they did have a vitamin A deficiency. And I would definitely check the base of your bird's tail for that gland. There are tons of pictures online that show what the gland looks like, what it should look like. Feel your other bird's glands too, just to get an idea. After I felt Bugla's, I picked up a blue and gold and felt hers, and there was a huge difference. Obviously, smaller birds have small oil glands, and the macaws have ones a little bit bigger. And it's better to check now than for this to go on and have the oil gland become ruptured, in which case the gland must be surgically removed, which is the absolute last resort because the gland is so necessary. And if an oil gland ruptures, a vet may even need to insert a drain into the gland for a few days. So check it now just to be safe. It'll only take you a few seconds. The only birds that do not have this gland, like I was saying earlier, and in case you have these parrots and you're looking and they don't have it, Amazon parrots, hyacinth macaws, spix macaws, and the Lear's macaw, I believe, doves, pigeons. I doubt any of us have pigeons, but birds, those birds that do not have that kind of gland, they'll have the powder down like I was talking about. And it's a good idea to get your birds out in unfiltered sunlight, not through glass or plastic. At least, if you can't get them into the unfiltered sunlight, at least get them exposed to full spectrum fluorescent lighting, which we talked about on the show before. And you really need to research your stuff before you even consider buying full spectrum lighting. It's been observed that African greys living outdoors that are exposed to natural sunlight very rarely suffer from seizures or obstructed oil glands. I was discussing Bugla's situation with her oil gland with a friend of mine, Cindy Wilson, and how Bugla's oil gland was not producing any oil. And she mentioned that she got something for her birds recently called Natra Pet Bird Bath Spray, Natra. You can find it on Drs. Foster and Smith's website. It's a spray that is full of vitamins, and it's also a skin conditioner, too. But it has natural preen oil in it. It helps keep in moisture to soothe the dry or itchy skin, so it's good for birds that are going through a rough molting period, which is why she got it. Her scarlet macaw was really having a rough time molting. But it's also good for birds like Bugla that for now cannot produce their own oil. So in the meantime, while her gland is recovering, I'm going to be using that for her. It's used on birds that have other feather disorders, too. It has wheat germ oil, aloe, and it's got A, D, and E vitamins in it. There is no alcohol or harmful chemicals that is going to hurt your birds. Yeah, like Christine said, when you're looking for an oil gland, it's very, very easy to see after the bird has had a shower and they're wet. It does stick out a bit. Once you know where it is, you won't forget. I know exactly where to go to find Buglas or any other birds. And as we know, sometimes the reason that a bird plucks is simply because they are itchy, especially dusty birds like African greys and cockatoos. So try the spray out. It's Natra, N-A-T-R-A spray, pet spray. It's good for them. The spray also helps with excessive molting, and it smells really, really good. And since we're talking about how important the preen gland is in parrots, also known as the oil gland, and how the most common cause for this is the lack of vitamin A, I thought we'd talk about some things that are high in vitamin A that you might want to offer your parrot. Sweet potatoes are way up there. They're an excellent source. Of course, you want to cook them before serving them. Don't serve them raw. Just a small amount of sweet potatoes gives your parrot plenty more than the daily amount they should consume. And carrots. Carrots are another one of those veggies that are better for your birds when they're cooked. It can be difficult to get your parrot to eat them sometimes, but dark leafy greens such as kale and spinach have lots and lots of vitamin A as well. Melons, berries, beans, and sprouts are good too. We talked about the importance of feeding your parrots only cooked beans. That 15-bean mix that you can find in most grocery stores is great. We feed ours that all the time. Just don't use the flavoring in the packet that it comes with. Apricots, peaches, those are all high in vitamin A. Some foods that are very low in vitamin A are apples, bananas, corn, grapes, lettuce, oranges, and white potatoes. Being deficient in vitamin A is more common in parrots than you might think. It's called hypovitamintosis A. If your bird is vitamin A deficient, it needs to be treated immediately because that vitamin affects the tissues that line the respiratory, digestive, and reproductive tracts, and vitamin A is needed to secrete mucus that destroys bacterial invasions. If it's really severe, you will notice small white patches in the mouth and on the tongue of your parrot, and they're very painful for the bird too. And so all of this is tied in together. Please check your bird's oil gland. It's very important. I would have had no idea. I would not have worried about it like my vet had told me if I had not read the article. So please check it out. Remember, at the base of the tail, just part the feathers until you can find it and check it out. I believe we're going to have Michael on a few minutes to talk about something on the show real quick.
Hi, you guys. Yeah, I'm going to be really fast. Do you want to hear it again? In wrapping up the show tonight, folks, there's something that I wanted to share with you, and those of you that are listening may not be aware of this, and those of you that are, I just want to say thank you. I was invited on February 22nd, 23rd to go to Minneapolis, St. Paul, for evidently, from what I understand, it's a very huge, massive pet expo. And I've never been to one of these things before. No, I haven't always lived in the forest, I'm not totally, culture deprived, if you will, but I've never been to a bird show. I've never been to an expo. And I was honored by being asked to come back there and be the guest speaker, if you will, for Parrots. And I'm just totally elated. When I first got the communication, I was going like, oh, this has to be a joke, But I've been doing this. I've been working with these guys for 50 years, and I guess finally now I get a chance, to be able to share some information with folks and be the ambassador, if you will, for Bird for a couple of days. My understanding is that there's several thousands of people that are coming to this, and the only nervous part of it is that I found out that I'm being given the stage, to be able to take and do this presentation 2 times on Saturday and 2 times on Sunday. And I'm ready. My heart's ready, my mind is ready, but, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you that have sent prayers and good feeling and good fortune for me and all of our birds to represent you. And those of you that also have sent in financial donations so that I can, actually buy the ticket to be able to go back there and do this. As you guys, may or may not know, every single dime that comes into our sanctuary here, you guys, I don't eat like a king here. Mandy doesn't either. We spend our money on our birds. We've got 32 of them, and we buy them the best food possible, and we get them really cool toys, and we bring them out daily, and we've got a beautiful sunroom here in the Mendocino Forest, and they're happy, and they feel good, and especially from the conditions that they came from prior to getting here, when many of them, many people, if you will, if you had gone through what some of these guys have gone through, you'd have given up. And the beauty of this is to see how it all turns around when you use your heart, that magnificent spirit, man, that keeps your heart going, and actually are able to take and feel that coming from another living being that acknowledges you as someone that loves and that is there to protect them. And nobody, as long as I'm on this planet, no one will ever hurt them again. So I'm putting together some videos of some fun things that I've done with my birds to show folks when I go back there. And I'm not really like putting together like a speech, type of thing and all of that. I'm just going to speak from my heart. That's what I do with my birds. And I think it, hopefully it'll work with people too. Just, put these guys up on, a higher tier of intelligence and commitment and unbelievable perseverance. So I'm very, very proud and very, very happy to have been selected to do this. So as I said, all of you guys that have sent in, I'm getting my ticket. I get to do this. I go from 72 degrees, 74 degrees, 78 degrees weather that we've had here, and I get to take a voyage into the icy cold of space, man. That's what it really feels like to me, And somebody says, oh, yeah, we got a wind chill factor of -60. I'm going like, that's just rude. It's like, what? And I'm thinking, all right, and I go through my wardrobe, and my wardrobe, starts giggling at me, going like, I'm not going to work for you, I'm not going to work for you, I'm not going to work for you, But I've got a big, huge coat that I got years ago, and I can't believe that I never got rid of it. And I'm really glad that I held on to it, because when I get off the plane, they're going to probably look at me, and they're going to see an Eskimo, because this coat is like totally huge. It weighs more than my green-wing Rodney, and he weighs a lot. And it's got this big, huge hood on it, man, and it's got all this sheep skin on the inside of it and some leather or something on the outside. And it's like, it looks like it's going to take care of business, But once again, you guys, thank you. Thank you, for the heart and the backing, if you will, and for just simply being on the planet and allowing me to enjoy you as a close personal friend that loves these beautiful animals and that will do anything and everything you can for them. It's a true pleasure to just simply know you and that you guys are on the planet, okay? Mouse?
Yeah, I wanted to mention really quick before we go, we had Delta Andries on the show. I'm going to mention her site again. It's Parrottelia Bird Toys, Parrot, EELIA, birdtoys.com. You can find her on Facebook as Parrottelia Bird Toys. I also wanted to mention, I talked about that she donated several toys, parrot toys, to our little mini auction for Treasured Wings, which is Christine Fretch. She vets every single one of her birds that come into her rescue, and so it's a way to help out with some vet costs. So if you can look that up on Facebook, that's mini auction, MINI auction to benefit Treasured Wings. And it's great. We have all kinds of things in there, parrot toys, parrot-related gifts, all kinds of different things. And Delta was nice enough to donate several toys that are really neat parrot toys. So if you can check that out, please do, and we definitely hope to have Christine on the show one day. You never really hear about rescues vetting every single one of their birds. They also bring their birds to visit, the elderly people and things like that. They take their birds out and show these birds to people. It's a beautiful thing. Please join us next week for Parrots, People, and Pets next Sunday.